This Saturday morning, I did a little exercise that has been crucial in helping me stay on track and stay aligned with the work that I'm doing. I was at the coffee shop and I was feeling like I was just having the best morning I could remember in a long time. And I took some time to actually reflect on why that was. How would I rate my morning? What's the reason why I was enjoying things so much? What could I learn about this day that can teach me something for later? And that little number, this little habit, is part of how I've worked for myself for the last 12 plus years without feeling like I've gotten so misaligned with the work that I'm doing. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works. But first, I want to talk to you about the reason I've gotten some of these things wrong over the years and the thing that many founders get wrong. I work with dozens of different entrepreneurs, all who've started over $1 million businesses. And when you start out as an entrepreneur, you think that you want freedom. You think the reason you're becoming an entrepreneur is because you want freedom. But what nobody tells you is that being an entrepreneur does not give you freedom. In fact, sometimes the more success you create, the less freedom you're going to have. And the truth is there's no life that is just free. And honestly, I don't think you really want a life that is just all freedom. Sometimes when a founder exits a company and they truly have nothing on their schedule and they've got unlimited money, they can get very depressed about that, because the reality is we want to have responsibilities. It feels good to have responsibilities. You're going to have responsibilities in your life, no matter your work circumstances. You're going to have employees, you're going to have customers, you're going to have family, you're going to have friends. We will always have responsibilities, and that's a good thing. We don't just want to get rid of all responsibility. That's actually a recipe for an existential crisis. The question we can ask ourselves is, what type of responsibility do I actually want? Think about a musician, a singer, somebody in a band. They, you might think, have the ultimate freedom, and yet they hire a manager. Why would a free artist give up their freedom to have a manager? Well, that's because having the responsibility of both making their art and steering their career, that's just too much for them. And they want the responsibility of doing the work, of serving their fans, and then they hand off the rest. Some founders want to manage themselves. Some founders actually struggle with that and they want a boss and they hire investors. You might not think about it that way, but when you want to create a rocket ship startup, often you'll hire an investor to help put you in that situation. It's kind of like a boss, and you're tied to them until some future exit, and they're going to put enormous pressure on you oftentimes, but that's the pressure that you want. You chose it. So no matter what you do, there's never this ultimate freedom. There's only a responsibility that we get to choose, and that's really what our freedom is. Our freedom is our freedom to choose what you work on, who you work with, how you spend your time. These choices have a huge range of outcomes in how we feel day to day, because choice is ultimately about alignment. Do we make choices that align with who we are? And things click, doors open, synchronicities happen. Every time I've had great opportunity come into my life, it's because I've chosen to align with something that was more right for me. And the byproduct of that alignment is luck. When you feel good, when you're energized, when you chase what feels right for you, more good things come into your life. And if you imagine the times where you're misaligned, you go to a job interview, it's a decent role, you're telling yourself this is the right thing for you, but you can't stand the person who interviewed you. You're not really interested in that much in this company, but it's a good job to take and you take it anyway. That's choosing misalignment, and that is not sustainable, because something underneath that misalignment is going to come to the surface. And the longer you stay, the louder that noise is going to get to tell you that you're misaligned. So alignment is really about the feeling that we get. When we make choices, do these choices bring us closer to that feeling that you're wanting? Most people miss how they feel. They escape into their intellect. And I've done that too. We've all been trained to think so hard about our life, to use intelligence to make our choices. But that always doesn't get us to a place where we truly are aligned. It's only really our emotions and our heart that take us into alignment. So choice and alignment are about listening to the feelings that you're having when you're experiencing something. So, getting back to that practice that I talked about, that 8 out of 10, that reflection of my morning, the way to train the alignment muscle is to use scorecards, to use reflections, to reflect on something you've just done, to reflect on a meeting that you just had with somebody, to reflect on the time you spent with a friend, to reflect on the time you spent working on your hobby, and asking yourself, how did that feel for me? A great way to actually plan your future is to look back. A great way to plan your future is to look at, what have I experienced in the past that I've enjoyed and feels like if I push on it, it's actually more room to run. It's not like a locked door. By doing this reflection, creating a scorecard, ranking out of 10, how was that meeting? Why was it that I had such a good day? By reflecting on what are the pieces and elements that I have been most energized by, we're able to start seeing in the mirror for ourselves the things that are bringing us the most joy, alignment, and excitement. And the way to have a sustainable career, a career that feels free, is to identify those things that we truly enjoy, doing that through these reflections, and noticing how we feel our best, when we feel our best, what the elements are, and then pursuing more of those things moving forward. So instead of planning out your life perfectly, you get to experiment and see, what does it feel like to have a day like this, to try a meeting out like that, to test something new. And then we can choose what it is that we enjoy most, what it is that we're aligning with most, and we get to continuously see how we feel. So using reflection, simple ranking of experiences, simple dissecting, what was it about this that made me enjoy my day so much? That's the key to long-term alignment in a career that you really care about. And ultimately, it's not about freedom. It's about taking responsibility for what you uniquely enjoy. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. I would love to interact with you there. You can like, you can subscribe. I'll be back again very soon. Later.